as far as the first year of Southwest Eco, I mean, you have been a big part of the main event, and as far as the interactive and that sort of thing. How would you compare the two events? Like, is there stuff that you're seeing here that you're like, well, I wish this really had these components of like the regular South, just like more people, but like, is there anything that's kind of going on here or that's gone on at the main event that sort of discrepancies that you would kind of want them to swap a little bit?
Yeah, well, I do think that so far South by Southwest Eco's had a lot of the flavor, the tone of interactive.
Yeah.
And that's great because I really like interactive. I think it's a great conference. One of the things that I think makes it that way is that pretty much everybody here is involved in some aspect of doing things, right? They are somebody who actually studies this, or they are running a business that does it, or they're like in an NGO that's dealing with it, or they work for a local government, or whatever, right? And so that means that the conversation that happens on sort of a higher level. There's less sort of starting at zero, like, let's catch up. We live on a planet. It's round. And there's more kind of, hey, here's what I learned. Here's what I'm thinking about. And I would love to see them even push that harder, because I think that what makes interactive so amazing as a content showcase is that they get some of the brightest people who are working on stuff talking about what they're thinking now, what they want to do next. And it's definitely not for everybody, but for the people who are into the stuff, it's like awesome. Right? And so I think they're doing a good job of that, and they could do an even better job. I also think it has, unlike a lot of other big conferences, and I think this is totally true of interactive, and I feel it here too, there's a more human feel. You know what I mean? It's not as networky schmoozy. It's not as all guy. It's not like 95% male, right? It's there are people from different fields. There's a social feel to the whole thing,
right?
And that's all really great. I think that they're going to have some challenges, just sort of expanding the audience and sort of figuring out how to really articulate what it is that's going to happen here. But that's a challenge any new conference has.
Right. No, there's definitely been a lack of that sort of. I mean, South by definitely has that click to it anytime you attend. I mean, there's that runs around in all the circles, whether it's music, film, or interactive. And we spoke with the CTO, Scott Wilcox, earlier about what the mission was. And they're still obviously figuring that out and what they want next year. And they don't, I mean, they're just kind of, their concern was, if they had ran South by Eco with the main vertical, that the mission would have gotten lost a little bit, as anytime they try to launch something within that. It's just, there's so much going on, and so.
Yeah, I mean, for people who haven't been to South by, I think it's kind of hard to understand, like, just how big and crazy interactive film and music are together. It's like 11 days of sheer mayhem, right? So, it's it may be a really good move for it not to be another add-on to that. Maybe people don't need the 12th, 13th, and 14th day of sheer mayhem.
Right. And I think that, there's pros and cons. I mean, I think the pro is that it has the chance to breathe on its own. We have the chance to do stuff like this. It doesn't get completely lost by like something like Groupon. But the con is that it feels like a high school reunion here. I mean, I'm seeing lots of people that I've seen before, and I feel like we're not getting the new faces and getting the message out on the same level that needs to happen either. So I mean, but I think that can eventually happen.
Yeah, I mean, it is very definitely a certain crowd so far that's here, and a lot of people I know and really like, and don't see as often as I'd like to. So for me, it's been great, right? I mean, and it's a relatively, comparatively speaking, a small conference, and so they've managed to get this really high-level group of people here, and so to be able to have actual time with people, who you really want to see, and it's great. That's terrific, because at a lot of big conferences, it's sort of like you pass on these waves of people waving from a distance, right? So I think that's really great. I do think that it would benefit from some of just the crazy energy that's around interactive and the other parts of the conference. It's not that yet.
It's not.
Yeah.